Hi, I'll start the show with the new song. New you, you, you. That's a song that's being offered to test for yourself, like 15 minutes before you go to sleep each night, and maybe about 15 minutes when you wake up in the morning to see what life shows you. The new song is a connection to the real universes. There's the new presentation being offered. You can look up Wonderful Worldwide Educators. I think it's www.wonderfulworldwideeducators.com. And there's new books available at Lulu. And if you get a hold of Kelsey Lynn Brown on Facebook or YouTube, you can get PDFs of the new books. And there's lots of information about the projects you can become involved with in presenting this new presentation to the world. Today I'm going to read some of one of the new books. This is new book 3 of the Adventure Is series by Dwayne the Great Writer. It's called The Real Far Country, Real Guidance and Real Education. I'll start here with the part that Rebazar Tars, who is a universal guide, is talking to Paul Twitchell and Dwayne Hepner, and he's telling them, those who accept and listen to the new wave of life will find themselves renewed in the real universes, where there is endless light and real freedom. The creative sound reality recreates you, and then you find yourself a citizen of the new worlds. The false attractions of the sense worlds disappear, and you become an exalted, radiant being. You are purified and your mind is renewed. You will live anew, and never again shall the shadow of death cross your path. This is where you definitely become immortal. Those who are into the faith and belief systems will someday discover these systems offer little support for the hope of immortality. All the elements of the many world religions are of a doubtful value for the reason they are dependent upon ancient books and metaphysical theories, along with many mocked-up authority figures, and nothing real. This takes the matter out of the category of knowledge, and so now robs it of its chief value. And then what is left are a configuration of ideas that truly lead nowhere. Now, to get to the roots of immortality, you must learn and understand what the real universal guides are presenting. We are not interested in forming any organization that eventually becomes corrupt. History has already proven this. This has already been tried and now has failed so many times over. The majority that is still involved with the existing systems are not seeing what their controllers are truly doing. This is where you learn to test what is taking place where your eyes cannot see. A simple way is to ask any real guide to show you what is really taking place. You decide that you want to really know the truth about what you are involved with or wanting to know, and you will be shown while your body is asleep. Sometimes the is will provide an outer confirmation through the simplest of situations, such as a person talking with you and then suddenly start to provide you with the information you wanted to know. For you, Paul, from what you will have created here, what will take place after you leave the earth, there will be a period where the mastership is not what it appears to be, that it has taken over your presentation. There will be two after you that will continue on with your writings and then turn what you have taught into a religion for the sake of their own personal gain. The two stand-ins will be very charismatic and hold their followers to the sub-levels of awareness, just like the belief system businesses have done for the longest time. Here is where the students have the opportunity to have the real guides show them what is taking place. The owners of the corporation will be telling their followers that the real guides are still with their present so-called master, but it will not be true. Then you will be starting your new presentation, Dwayne. Of course, you already know this from the center of yourself. Now is the moment we will enter the nowness of the future view. All of us will center ourselves on the is, and I will position us at the very moment I transfer Paul, the rod of power. In a matter of moments, the surroundings changed, and we were in another mountainous area that had a large flat surface which was wide and huge. At first, it was just the three of us standing alone. We will now experience what the rest of the world will never know, said Rebazar. As we were standing and just observing, there began to appear small clusters of lights from many different positions. Very soon, each group of lights became beings like Rebazar. There seemed to be thousands of them standing all around us as far as the eye could see. I stood in awe and watched. The League of Real Universal Guides of the All Is. They are here to participate with us, said Rebazar. Then, from out of somewhere, the most wondrous light became apparent and engulfed all of us. The entire area was now solid light. I looked up and saw a giant staff of light coming from the sky and from somewhere unknown. I knew that this was the real side of the true reality displaying itself. The golden reality of the all is, the rod of power for you, Paul. This true reality is what takes care of those who have the real connection to the sound light wave. Only the real guides have access to this realness. The secondary systems are connected to the space gods and the dualistic powers of the mind, which fall under the control of the lords of karma. We are the real risk takers that are hidden from the world marketing drama. Because of this true reality, there will be so many who will be relieved of ever having to return to this earth again, said Rebazar as he smiled at us. As I watched, this casual swirling reality was alive with us. I could feel and sense its presence. All those who stood around us did not utter a word as we simply stood in silence. There was a soft and low sound that moved with all the swirling light. It was all like such a dream, as I could sense this scene was mainly for Paul, and what was to come for him as he would move out into the world of mankind. Later, I was to also realize as time and events went on that I was an even bigger part of this awesome reality. After I don't know how long, we were suddenly back at Rebazar's place. It took me a few moments to focus from all the light we were in. All of us sat down in a circle and stayed silent for a while. Then Rebazar started talking again. We will now go into the future view and what will be known as the new nowness. This is what must be conveyed to all those in search of the true reality, and that is, all that has taken place in the past should be left there as the reference it is. All that a person has gone through will always bring them into this ever-present moment and real nowness. Only in the real now can a person truly perceive reality, and never from anything in their past, nor the past of others and their historical events. I am actually quoting what you will be presenting, Dwayne, as all of us are in the actuality of the rod of power, the new wave now. The rest of this world and all the other people who are looking for the real guides must learn to recognize what is real now. From lifetimes ago, the two of you decided to take the risk and dare do what others would not. So this is where you have come to be. This is how reality is and will always be so. Now we are going into the future view once again, said Rebazar, as all of us were suddenly in what seemed to be a rather different surroundings, yet all of it appeared the same. We were standing outside of Rebazar's hut, and as I was looking around at the scenery, Rebazar pointed directly upward. I stared straight up and saw a streak across the sky. For a moment, I considered it to be more than it was. But then realized it was a jet aircraft at what I would guess to be 30,000 feet in the air. From behind the aircraft was a long and continuous vaporous white streak that did not seem to disappear, but lingered on in the air as it gradually spread out. I had seen high-flying jets like this before, but their jet trail always evaporated and vanished. We are standing in the future now, Dwayne. What you are seeing is what is taking place on the earth now. As you can see by what you have noticed is the trail of the passing jet as it does not remove itself, but lingers on. This and so much more of what is mainly hidden from the public view is taking place. It is all about control and destruction. What you are seeing will come to be known as a chemtrail. The ruling forces of the earth are purposely bombarding the public with toxic chemicals to maintain their position of complete dominance over the minds and emotions of the unaware. Once again, this is human history repeating itself, as was the case with Atlantis as an example. You, Dwayne, will already be standing in the rod of power, the new wave. When this scene from the future view takes place, I am demonstrating to you and Paul how the space and time frames work. Because of what all of us have decided with our real intent, firmly with the all is, we can move into and through all the fabricated events that humans create. All those who have made themselves subject to the creations of others, which are not directly connected to the real guides and the all is, are merely moving about in the design matrix consciousness of the Callum world, the Lord God of men. Here again is where the two of you will establish what others dare not touch in the way of real truth and a real position with the all is, said Rebazar. While Rebazar was explaining more of what will take place, he told us how the reality of cause and effect works in the creative realms. He said, because of the actions of those who constantly project into what they have determined to be their future, the effects are already existing in what could be thought of as parallel dimensions. And so, this is how the real guides overview any situation they want to, by positioning themselves in any time frame they want. Rebazar said that the future can always be changed because of a person's free will, but as long as they hold to what they have decided, then the future effects will come to be as has been determined. He also explained to me and Paul that there will be many stories about him, and even when Paul passes from his physical body, but he will still have a body on the earth to support me with the rod of power, the new wave. After a long discourse on so many things that will not be published, we return to the time era of what was then present day. I am going to constantly take the two of you into many time frames, because the intenseness of the future that will unfold with the social structures from those who support them as they keep deciding a very dismal future for themselves. As usual, mankind cannot be trusted, but still needs real guidance in so many areas. As the two of you make the knowledge available, there will be millions of people who will have the opportunity with the real connection to the all is. What we are presenting is not a religion, philosophy, yoga, or any type of metaphysical system that deals with the God idea. No. It is definitely not any of these businesses for the masses that pertain to the formulated gods. What we are doing is returning the real super knowledge to those that have the heart to see what is taking place. The great reality can only be what it is, and that is a presenter of itself to all who will listen with a childlike heart. It is the great sound of life that is the gift for each U-tune to realize and take the journey back to its home in the real universes. Again, what the real guides do is offer the real presentation and the opportunity with the real connection. We deliver the hidden knowledge. The all is wants to be distributed, and then we let each person decide for themselves. We are not here to change anything, not people's minds or the conditions of the world, but by the very fact that each person becomes aware of what is real, the changes for the better start to occur from the true natural source of all. We are not here to compete with what already exists either, because the all is can only be real with all of its creations. Our sole purpose is to provide the real guidance with the true reality, real truth, and real freedom. The fact is that just about nobody on this physical level knows anything about the real you and its wonderful potential, because the educational systems will not accept the natural source of real guidance. The ideas that have been invented and floated around for hundreds of years from the lowly educational businesses are a lot of silly stuff. They do pertain to the earth and are workable from the first level, but that is all they do. When a person has accomplished their education, earthly goal, they are left out in the cold, so to speak. Who really knows the component parts of the new? Does science? What about the educational institutions? Do the politicians or the clergy or even the Pope? No, none of them. All of these and most of the rest know very little or nothing. They could know if they were really interested and took the time to investigate, but so many follow the old schools of traditional behavior that have created their rituals for people to adhere to. This is part of the fear factor that has been driven into people over time by the accepted and invented gods and those who choose to manage the affairs of the written disorders.